Respected sadhakas, welcome together. Let us salute the Paramatma, the Guru Parampara, the Guru Tattva, the Shruti Mata, the Parabrahma Tattva. As we are moving ahead in our study of Shastras, growing in our age, what we have to seek is introvertedness. What we have to try for is introvertedness. What we have to pray to the Lord is to bless us with this antarmukhata, where only two things: one, aware of the mind, fully managing it to be qualified for knowing the truth, and then seeing that which is beyond the mind. If these two introverted sadhanas we start doing by God's grace and our own prayers and willingness, then our study of Shastras is becoming fulfilled or fruitful. Because what we have to discover is that which is within us as our own selves, which is beyond our antakarana. So, how much ever Shastra we study, outer things we do, finally we have to know that we have to consciously discover our own inner self. As it is said, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate in Kena Upanishad, or Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tat Tvam Asi. Hey Shvetaketo, as it is said in Chandogya Upanishad, or Ayam Atma Brahma, as it is said in the Mandukya Upanishad. Every of the Upanishad, Taittiriya also, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. In the cave of the heart, in that supreme space is the truth, the reality, the self, the God, the Paramatma, the Parabrahma, to be discovered as our own self. So, for that, the measurement of our evolution in sadhana is how much, how frequently, how much consciously we are becoming antarmukha in search of the meaning to all these sentences, in search of the experience of all these sentences. So that is the true, that is the actual, that is the ultimate, that is a very essential sadhana. Anything, everything which helps us in this is correct. We have to do, whether it is to make us antarmukha, we have to become withdrawn from the world, therefore viveka vairagya. We have to become single pointed, therefore we have to use japa and upasanadi sadhanas. We have to be reminded about the truth, therefore the shravana, chintana, manana, adhyayana, all of them which are leading us towards that are correct doings. So may we discover that, may we be engaged in that. All our extrovertedness, external attractions, upadhis, upadhi tadatmya, and slavery to all these upadhis, each of them we, if we want to grow spiritually, have to transcend or conquer. Our mission should be that. Focus should be on that only more and more. So may it happen to all of us so soon with these prayers. Let us engage today's entire day in our Shastra Adhyanam. Let us start with our Taittiriya Parayanam, Taittiriya Upanishad Adhyanam with Adya Shankara Bhashyam. Followed by our Yoga Darshanam with Vyasa Bhashyam. Then we have our Mundaka to study during the daytime. Then we will go for our Bhagavad Gita for the youth and a beautiful evening Bhagavatam Sudhama Charitra, and then Adhyatma Ramayanam, Rama Ravana Yuddham. So the Rama in us, the higher intellect, the Ravana, the lower mind. Between these two, the eternal battle is going on in every of the Jiva. So when we discover the self, the Rama's victory. So, in this way, wonderful Shastras throughout the day we are engaged in, may we do them very seriously, sincerely. Let us do the beginning with the chanting Tritiya Bhrugu Valli. ॐ अथ तृतीया भृगुवल्ली ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. No, we have not done yesterday Brahmananda Mimamsa in the Dvitiya Valli. Abhaya Pratishta we have done. Let us do the Brahmananda Mimamsa. Sorry. Om Bhishasmadvata Pavate Bhishodeti Suryaha Bhishasmadagnischendrascha Mrutyurdhavati Panchama iti Saishanandasya Mimagam sa bhavate युवा स्यात् साधु युवाध्यायकः आशिष्ठो दृढिष्ठो बलिष्ठः तस्येयं पृथिवी सर्वा वित्तस्य पूर्णा स्यात् स एको मानुष आनन्दः ते शतं मानुष आनन्दाः स एको मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं मनुष्यगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः आनन्दाः स एको देवगन्धर्वाणामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं देवगन्धर्वाणामानन्दाः स एकः पितॄणां चिरलोकलोकानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं पितॄणां चिरलोकलोकानामानन्दाः स एक आजानजानां देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतमाजानजानां देवानामानन्दाः स एकः कर्मदेवानां देवानामानन्दः ये कर्मणा देवानपि यन्ति श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं कर्मदेवानां देवानाम् आनन्दाः स एको देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं देवानामानन्दाः स एक इन्द्रस्यानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतमिन्द्रस्यानन्दाः स एको बृहस्पतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं बृहस्पतेरानन्दाः स एकः प्रजापतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य ते शतं प्रजापतेरानन्दाः स एको ब्रह्मण आनन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य चाकामः तस्य स यश्चायं पुरुषे यश्चासावादित्ये स एकः स य एवं विद अस्माल्लोकात् प्रेत्य एतमन्नमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामति एतं प्राणमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामति एतं मनोमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामति एतं विज्ञानमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामति एतमानन्दमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रामति तदप्येष श्लोको भवति यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न बिभेति कुतश्च नेति एतगं हवावन तपति किमहगं साधुना करवं किमहं पापमकरवमिति स य एवं विद्वानेते आत्मानग् स्पृणुते उभे ह्येवैष एते आत्मानग् स्पृणुते य एवं वेद इत्युपनिषत् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् ॐ गुरुपुङ्गवपुङ्गवकेतनते समतामयतां न हि कोऽपि सुधीः शरणागतवत्सलतत्त्वनिधे भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणं ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि ओम परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः ओम श्री वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकरादि गुरुभ्यो नमः ओम ओम तेषां सर्वेषां कृपा अनुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव सिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः साम्प्रदायानां पुनरुत्थानजागरण विश्वव्याप्तिद्वारा विश्वध्यात्मिकप्रगतिप्राप्त्यर्थं तेन विश्वशान्तिकल्याणेकताप्राप्त्यर्थम् अस्मिन् धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये निष्ठितानां समस्तभक्तसाधकसेवकानां सदा सर्वदा बाह्य अभ्यन्तर शत्रुविघ्ननिर्मूलननिवारणद्वारा समस्त शक्ति साधना संपदा सानुकूलतानां सिद्धिद्वारा धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये दिग्विजयार्थं श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदांतर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषदः पारायणम् आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे ओम यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः येरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीत तद्वक्तारमावीत आवीन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ अथ तृतीया भृगुवल्ली दशमोऽनुवाकः ॐ न कञ्चन वसतौ प्रत्याचक्षेत तद्व्रतं तस्माद् यया कया च विधया बह्वन्नं प्राप्नुयात् अराध्यस्मा अन्नमित्याचक्षते एतद्वै मुखतोऽन्नगं राद्धं मुखतोऽस्मा अन्नगं राध्यते एतद्वा मध्यतोऽन्नगं राद्धं मध्यतोऽस्मा अन्नगं राध्यते एतद्वा अन्ततोऽन्नगं राद्धं अन्ततोऽस्मा अन्नगं राध्यते य एवं वेद क्षेम इति वाचि योगक्षेम इति प्राणापानयोः कर्मेति हस्तयोः गतिरिति पादयोः विमुक्तिरिति पायौ इति मानुषी समाज्ञाः अथ दैवीः तृप्तिरिति वृष्टौ बलमिति विद्युते यश इति पशुषु ज्योतिरिति नक्षत्रेषु प्रजातिरमृतमानन्द इत्युपस्थे सर्वमित्याकाशे तत्प्रतिष्ठेत्युपासीत प्रतिष्ठावान् भवति तन्मह इत्युपासीत महान् भवति तन्मन इत्युपासीत मानवान् भवति तन्नम इत्युपासीत नम्यन्ते स्मै कामाः तद्ब्रह्मेत्युपासीत ब्रह्मवान् भवति तद्ब्रह्मणः परिमर इत्युपासीत पर्येण म्रियन्ते द्विषन्तः सपत्नाः पर्ये प्रिया भ्रातृव्याः स यश्चायं पुरुषे यश्च सावादित्ये स एकः स य एवं विद अस्माल्लोकात् प्रेत्य एतमन्नमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रम्य एतं प्राणमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रम्य एतं मनोमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रम्य एतं विज्ञानमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रम्य एतमानन्दमयमात्मानमुपसङ्क्रम्य इमान् लोकान् कामान्नि कामरूप्यनुसञ्चरन् एतत्सामगायन्नास्ते हावो 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 अहमन्नमहमन्नमहमन्नम् अहमन्नादो अहमन्नादो अहमन्नादः अहग्गश्लोककृदहग्गश्लोककृदहग्ग श्लोककृत अहमस्मि प्रथमजारुतास्य पूर्वं देवेभ्योऽमृतस्य न भाहि यो मा ददाति स इदेव मा वाह अहमन्नमन्नमदन्तमाद्मि अहं विश्वं भुवनमभ्यभवाम सुवर्णज्योतिः य एवं वेद इत्युपनिषद ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Friends, in this beautiful Upanishad, so many topics covered right from first Shiksha Valli. Every one of them have to be clearly understood and worthy of practicing as an essential part of spiritual evolution. So, in the first round, we are only going through the entire subject. Second time, third time, when we seriously study and grasp all the sadhanas ought to be done. And actually, when we start doing, we can see the transformation expected happening in us in the form of being internal, going beyond each of the koshas through the Hridaya Guha, reaching to Paramatma. Now, after seeing this ninth Anuvaka in the 10th one, so many beautiful shlokas are there. Now, it all is talking about how we have to conduct in the world with the things, necessary things like Anna Ityadi, and how we have to deal with the people. Then we will be told about the Brahma Upasana with regard to the Manushi Sambandhi Vishayas, so too the Brahma Upasana with regard to Daivi Sambandhi Vishayas. When this is done, what transformation that happens in us and what is the Falashruti of that. These are the few very essential topics covered in the 10th and last Anuvaka of the third and last this Bhrugu Valli of this most enchanting complete Upanishad Taittiriya. So in that, the first one we have seen the very beautiful three things. First shloka contained the three things. What is that? Na kanchana vasatau pratyachakshita. Never deny the place to stay to anyone. And what is its vistara understanding? We have seen last 2-3 days. Then keep this also like the earlier three Anuvakas 7, 8, 9. Annam Nindya Tadvratam Ityadi. Here also Nakanchana Vasado Pratyachakshita Tadvratam. take it as a vrata, vow, and keep practicing it. So here the very sublime spiritual thought in it is what? You don't reject, refuse anyone, anything, and put it in the category of anatma. Keep everybody in the definition of the atma only. That is the main meaning of vasato na pratyachakshita, because all are same Brahman. If anyone is refused or refuted or rejected, then we are going contradictory to the definition of Brahman, that Sarvam Kalaidam Brahma. So, at one level, to be clear in our understanding regarding Brahma Tattva, we keep the world away, with which we have unnecessary delusions and attachments, because of which we were distracted. But once the subject matter is clear, the goal is clear, then the same world which we have rejected earlier has to be seen as the divine. Because final experience may not only me in the my hridaya kuhara, but everywhere whatever I see, sarvam khalu idam brahma eva, that anubhuti only I have to have. So if I develop a wrong thought or notion or tendency or vasana of denying something on any pretext, then I am limiting the Brahman, because I am accepting something as other than Brahman. So that deeper meaning we have to catch here when it is said you don't reject accommodation to anyone. It's a very gross outer practice. Its consequences in the heart, wherein no thing or no being is taken as other than self, other than the Brahman. Further, the practice is this one. Vasati, the place to stay. The sharing the place where we stay with others is equal to expanding our own identity, going beyond this one upadhi to the other, discovering the Paramatma in that also. So in that context, na kanchana vasado vratya chakshita tadvratam. Then once that hosting you have done of the guest, immediately you have to provide the food also. Vasech datte avashyam hi asanam datavyam. Once you give the accommodation, then you are bound to give the bhojana also. So the place is given. Now the consumable goods, which I used to keep only for me, by sharing with others, again I have made my I identity little expanded to embrace even that Atithi who has come. Discovered his hunger also is my hunger. Therefore, satiation of his hunger is equal to satiation of my hunger. Therefore, give the bhojanam. And give the bhojanam is an instruction which is also as a vrata to insist on its importance. Okay. Shruti Mata uses such a way of explanation. She says, Yaya kaya cha vidaya bahu annam prapnuyat. Karo kuch bhi, of course, honest and all, to keep the food ready for the guest to give. And when Shruti Mata said this one, Shankara Bhagavan caught the depth in that sentence. Therefore, to make us more clearly understand, he added one sentence from his side. What sentence? Ki na asti iti na pratyakyanam kurvanti. Before that, bhavannam prapyat bahu sangram kuryad iti artha yasmat annamanta. Now, third sentence also we study. Then the Bhagavan Shankara's Bhashya. So, first is Nakanchana Vasudho Pratyachakshita. Second, Pratyachakshita Tadvratam. Second is Tasmat Yaya Kaya Cha Vidya Bahu Annam Prapnuya. Now, the third one is what? Aradi Asmai Annam Iti Achakshate. The Vidwan, the Anna Brahma Upasaka or the Brahma Upasaka should always utter these words. Ki guest, please come, the food is ready for you. Either you tell it or tell your children or wife or servants, बाबा उनको बताओ गेस्ट लोगों को भोजन तैयार है. Aradhi. Asmai annam arad means kept ready, cooked and served and kept ready. Annam, the food, asmai to this atiti, iti in this way achakshate, speak out. Who? The Vidvamsas. What are the Vidvamsata? Everything is Brahman, so Anna Brahma Upasana I am doing. Therefore, the Anna has to be given to any of the Atiti. So, with this clear conscious understanding, is called as Vidvamsaha Achakshate. Now, to substantiate this one, Bhagavan's sentence was Adi Shankara's कि न अस्ति इति न प्रत्याख्यानम कुर्वन्ति. Never ever send back by saying that the food is not there. Even in the dream also that thought should not come. So see in this insistence what's happening. We are working hard and earning the food, but not for us, but for the people who have come to us as guests. The working hard is common like earlier. Earning the food also common like earlier. The uncommon thing was is earlier the food was only for me, the one Annamaya Pranamaya Kosha. Now even it is to the Atiti, whoever are hosted, that Pranamaya Kosha, now it is given as priority. The next step of that is what? Even if you don't have food, never mind, but don't keep your atithi bhuka. Unko jarur dena. So by this, what's happening? Total denial of one personal pranamaya kosha and total identity with that, the total pranamaya. This is what we have to very subtly achieve. Then only the identity with our own koshas, which is happening from millions of lives and all, we can go beyond or transcend it. And never mind, don't worry about your survival and all. But with these upasana, the samashti will take care. That is how in the earlier three Anuvaka, Falashruti, Annavan, Annado Bhavati is mentioned. तो कोई डरना नहीं. ऐसे प्रकृति या टोटालिटी ऐसा क्रूएल नहीं है कि when we have sacrificed food for others that we are killed. We are provided again. It will come to us in some form, definitely. So that faith we must have. Without that type of faith that I will be taken care, nobody will take initiative to do such type of rigorous sadhanas. Even if I don't have food, the servant should, sorry, the atiti should be fed. And this happens very rarely. That is why first only it is said, the yaya kaya savidaya bahu annam prapnuya. To work hard by all the righteous means and earn sufficient food for yourself, your family, and the atiti. So, in that, all the activeness, dynamism, initiative, concern for the atiti, and following the scriptural injunctions, keeping the Paramatma as the goal, all these things are included in this practice. So, a very active, very alert, very dynamic, very sattvic way of life it is. Very dynamic. There's no lethargy, laziness that I myself am not working. Therefore, for my own survival, I am taking a bowl and begging someone. This is very third rate life. Spirituality means dynamism, activeness, even at the material level, to create, conserve the resources and share them with the atithis, with whom now we are developing our tadatmya. In that way, when it is expanded, the whole universe is my own self. Whatever I have is for their service. This type of highest evolution comes. At that level are the great yogis, gurus, and mahatmas, that they don't have even a one thought of I or mine. The whole life is spent only in serving the totality. And what about I and mine? They are taken care for the survival of it. The Sushti Samashti provides, that's given to them. Other than that, the tension worry to maintain it or fulfill the demands, desires, and bhoga asaktis of the upadhi, that whole virus is selected and deleted. Antivirus laga diya. This is how our antakarana should become. Like Puja Gurudev, you see. How many times we can imagine that he wanted food for himself to enjoy, to indulge? You can't even imagine that. He had food. Every day he had food, bhiksha and all. Very good, sumptuous food. But that is to make the devotees and all of them happy and thus guide them toward the truth or the self. His main project was that. To fulfill that main project of selfless service of spreading the jnana of the Shastra, he needs to love the people, help the people, be with them, For that sake, all the natak he played. But heart in heart is when the Dehadi Tadatma is gone, then the Bhogadi Vritti will not be there. But survival के लिए जो भी करना है वो तो होता रहता है. So all these we have to understand beyond, behind, in between the sentences when we study. Many more are there, much more are there. Every sentence of Upanishad has in its consequence so many sublime levels of understandings. They will be revealed when we are more deep, when we are in pure devotion, dedication to our Shastras and Shastra Dhenam. The Shruti Mata herself will reveal these very essential things. This was the first shloka. Aradhyasmai annamitya chakshate. So, in that, hard work, earning the annam, giving to all. Hard work, earning the place to stay, giving to all. So by working hard, all the ego individuality is gone. By giving it to everyone, the mamata on the things and the objects is gone. That way, we are slowly from the Vesti, working to the for the sake of others or samesti, coming out of the Vesti bondage. ये हमेशा याद रखना, ये व्यक्तित्व व्यष्टि व्यक्तित्व जो है, that is the only problem for us to suffer as an individual and not enjoy loving and serving the world and not discovering the one self which is everywhere permeating. The Vesti is the biggest problem. You know, giving importance to the Vesti at the cost of the Samashti. That anyhow, somehow, everyhow, we have to transcend. First, we have to understand it thoroughly. Then, these are the techniques by which, from the individualized cocooned life, we are expanding to embrace the whole world as the same Paramatma, same self. So, न कंचन वसतो प्रत्याचक्षीत तद्व्रतं तस्माद् एया कया च विदया बहुवन्नं प्राप्नुयात् अनादि अस्मै अन्नमिति आचक्षते. Okay? Now the second was the falashruti of this annadana is given, wherein three gradations, three levels of our attitudes and practices are proved according to those higher, secondary and lower. The reciprocation also happens to us. This was the second mantra. We have seen it. Etadvai mukhato annagam radham mukhatosma annagam radhyate. Etadvai madhyato annagam radham madhyatosma annagam radhyate. Etadva antato annagam radham antatosma annagam radhyate. Evam veda. This is the second mantra. We have thoroughly seen this also. So, Radha means preparation and offering. So, etadvai mukataha radham chet asmai mukataha annam radhyate. If one is understood, other things will be understood. Etadvai means annam, mukataha, radha means prepared and given. Annam is annam. So when annam is prepared and given, this is common in all the three things. In what way it is prepared and given, there is three levels, three grades, three attitudes. Three subtleties in us, three sattva, rajas, tamas way of expressions. Depending on that, what we as an individual get also is there in the world. That's what Shruti Mata says. This is how the world's show is running. So etadvai annam radham, etadvai annam radham, etadvai annam radham. Three are common. What is uncommon is mukhataha, madhyataha, antataha. We do it. So too, annagam radhyate is common. But what is uncommon is mukhataha, madhyataha, antataha. So radham is we prepare and give. Radhyate means we receive from the world. So, Jaisi Karni Vaisi Bharni Wali, expanded understanding. This quotation generally we use for some negative happening. जैसी करनी वैसी बनी, उसने पाप किया, उसने झूठ बोला या उसने रिश्वत ली इसलिए उसको अंदर डाल दी, हाँ जैसी करनी वैसी बनी। ओनली वेरी लिमिटेड सेंस दैट्स अंडरस्टूड, एक्सपैंड करके उसको समझ लेना। So mukhatah, madhyatah, antatah. If these three words are understood, other thing is understood. So first of all, vasati dena. Second, procuring the bhojanam and bhojan dena. Third, how the bhojana has to be given. See how step by step systematically the development is being guided to us. This is what evolution. Consciously doing it as a result coming out of our own Veshtitadatmya is called as doing sadhana and going higher and higher in the sadhana. This is how the sadhana starts. This is what is sadhana. Only then the inner impurities, inner limitations, inner worries, anxiety, tensions, all of them which are substantiating, strengthening our antakarana, they all become quietened, purified, thinned or removed. Shabd kuch bhi use karo. Finally, they won't be an obstruction for our darshan of our own self. Every sadhana we do is to remove the obstruction, the curtain between we and our own essential self. All of these are ought to be done, required to be done. Okay, now what is mukhataha, what is madhyataha, what is antataha? We have seen mukhataha has three meanings. One is what? Mukhye prathame vayasi. Mukhye prathame vayasi is right from the childhood onwards, or at least the youth age, let us say. Because children are very innocent, they will be busy in the playing, but they also can be trained. But consciously, when we take charge of living our life independently, starts with the youth age, let us say from the age of 15 onwards. So that is the Mukhyaya, Mukhya, Mukhataha means Mukhye Prathame Vayasi. First age onwards, we have to do. That is Mukhataha means Prathame Vayasi. Very young when we are, means start as early as possible. Second meaning of Mukhata means what? Mukhyayava Vritya. Mukhyayava Vritya means what? Giving this activity as priority. Not neglecting it, not postponing it, not putting something else more important than that and doing that and leaving it. That's called Mukhyaya Vritya. So giving bhojanam, accommodation, is the first priority. And not like when the Atiti has come, खड़े हो जाओ उधर करके, you are busy in your own coffee tea, you are reading your own newspaper, you are on your own cell phone engaged. And not like that, attending to him as the first priority is the meaning of Mukhyaya Vritya. Mukhyaya Vritya. Clear? Mukhyaya Vritya is the second meaning. So first one is Prathame Vayasi, second is Mukhyaya Vritya. Mukhataha words meaning we are trying to understand. Third one Bhagavan says is ki puja purasaram. Puja purasaram means it's so much of respectful or reverential attitude. Now further the common sense is what? That the Lord alone has come in this form, giving me a chance to do such sadhana, to come out of my own ego and selfishnesses in which I am bound, therefore I am not growing spiritually. देखो ये सारा बात जिनके मन में समझ में आता है then they will do with puja purassaram. You know, the very ignorant people, when they become data, they become arrogant. I am giving, you are surviving because of my giving. Without my giving you, how can you be there? This is an utter arrogant service, which is negative. He thinks he is great because he is the giver. But it gets turned the other way around when we become spiritual. When it comes to spiritual sadhana, it is never the giver who is important. It is the receiver who is important or great, because how much ever you want to give, if the receiver is not there, how can you give and fulfill your joy of giving? See that? Receiver is important. The change in attitude is sadhana. Understand? That's why in all the dhanams, wherever the data is, he is really respected, worshipped, and given. If it is Brahmana and Rishi Muni and Guru, all the respect worship we physically, practically do by puja upasana. If there's some other people, you may not do it like a dog or buffalo when you are giving some food. You don't wash its feet and do the pranam upasana, or anybody, the human beings also. Some very low time they are there. Not necessary that you do all the puja, but in the heart, God is there in that form. I am feeding him attitude inside. Thank you to that Atithi to come. Puja Purastaram likha hai udhar. Oh, because if you do disrespectfully, that God in that jiva will be miserable and he will not come again to you and he will develop a doubt everywhere कि यार उस जगह गया था उन्होंने इतने धिक्कार करते हुए कि gave me the खाना. I don't know that person may even get virakti. He may even commit suicide. You become cause of it. That person is not having food. That's the only problem. That should not make us harm or hurt his self respect. For everyone, the self respect is important. And as much he has self respect, we have to have his self respect, not ours. You have to respect the self in him. And at a larger parlance, somebody is rich, therefore data, other is a poor, therefore grahita. These all go on changing in the world, is it not? Is it that all the time we are the givers? पिछले कितने जन्मों में खुद ही भिखमंगे होंगे हम. We have received from the world. आगे भी जाकर depending on our prarabdha. When you take this thing also into account and see the giver and receiver, Anna Annad ki tarah, both go on changing the positions. At this present moment, I am told to be the giver and the receiver. That to that receiver, have the attitude of respect and reverence with all these reasonings. And not outside from the heart. You understand some more things? Ki, even beggars have the choice. I'm just kidding. They have a choice. They look at the person and is holy. उनको पता चलता है कि देने वाला है कि डांट देने वाला है. When he knows he's a rich, but he will not give. उनको पता, he will not go and ask only. But the other people, middle class yet, but उनको चेहरा देखते पता चलता है ये sensitive है, दाता है. They go and ask. I'm just giving example of a beggar. Same way, the Lord has sent that Atithi to our house, giving us a chance and recognizing that quality in us. Or the Lord Himself has come. Both are same. So, like that, so many things are there. We have to clearly understand, and all the purpose of all these intellectual gymnastics is to do mukhya vritya, to do that the annadanam or anna giving to the abhyagata puja purassaram. And then the consequences, in that person, Bhagwan himself is there. So he will say, Annadata Sukhi Bhava. You know, that person, whatever may be otherwise, but this time with full satisfaction and his gratitude to the God that he has sent here and you gave him the food, he will tune to that Lord so much. The Lord's blessings through him come to us when he says, Annadata Sukhi Bhava. धन्यवाद आपने अच्छा भोजन दिया कि आपका घर गृहस्थी सब अच्छा रहे. It is a tremendous amount of blessings. These are all from the Vyavaharic standpoint to avoid any questions and doubts we are talking. Spiritually seen, it is a Shruti Mata's command. This is the way we go beyond our own individual Upadhi Tadatmya and identify the Samashti Upadhi. This is the spiritual outlook. The other things are common sense, general knowledge. जब लोग डाउट करते हैं आजकल का दिन ऐसा है कि कैसे देवें किसी को भोजन, किसको भरोसा करें, सब धोखेबाज है. No, we made the world like that by living life like that. Now we live life like this for a few years, it will change. There's so many communities in the world, they are so much bent upon giving the food annadanam, but they are not lacking anything. They are getting everything. So many institutions are there. So those small little notions we have to remove. वेरी स्मॉल होते हैं नोशंस, और बड़े बड़े संकल्प को भी वो निर्वीर्य कर देते हैं. उसको हमें दूर रखना चाहिए. So mukhyato nagadam mukhye vayasi mukhyaya amritya puja purassaram. It is called mukhataha. When we do it this to the world of the atithi, when we also are in need, we also get reciprocation. Tasya kim phalam syat. When that is done, what is the phala to that annadata? Ki iti uchyate. It is said same thing is reciprocated to him. Mukataha means purve vayasi and also mukhya vritya va asmai annadaya annam radhyate yathadattam upadishtyate ityartha. As he has taken care of the atithi, so he will also be taken care by the world. प्रथमे वयसी मुख्या वृत्तिया एज वेल एज पूजा पुरस्सर. मुख्या वृत्तिया में ही पूजा पुरस्सर आ जाता है. नॉट लाइक किसी घर आप गए हैं तो उन्होंने ठीक गाना नहीं दिया. when that person comes to your house, definitely that memory will tell you, अरे उस घर गया मैंने वो जानबूझ कर दिया ही नहीं. You also refrain to give. On the other hand, when you went to that house, lavishly has given food. So the thought comes, यार ये दिल खोल के उसने दिया, मैं भी देता हूँ. As we experience, you understand, from the world, so too, that from that we have to learn the lesson. Okay. And again, please remember, Shruti Mata is assuring of the reciprocation of the result, but we will not do that thing keeping the reciprocation in the mind. No. We do it as an Adhyatmic sadhana. Our drushti is sadhana only. But Shruti Mata just to encourage, because everybody is not the highest level of sadhana who are studying the Upanishads. Some of them have doubt. स्वामी सबको देखते जाए तो हमको क्या होगा, और उनके लिए बता रहे, you will also be taken care. Don't worry. So that shows that in this life, if we are denied of the food, if we are not given the food respectfully, if we are not given priority, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, हमने कभी किसी को इस तरह से अकोमोडेशन और अन्न का मुख्य रूप से दान नहीं दिया. समझ बात. So by this, Lord has made a setup in the world of mutual give and take. This is understood. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreya param avapsat. And expand the whole thing. Hoard the things, you will be looted off. Go on giving the things in charity and all, you are replenished or supplied with the things continuously. This is how the world works created by the God. जिसने पकड़ के रखा, जकड़ के किसी को नहीं दिया, उसको अटैक करके लूट के ले जाते हैं. जिसने कुछ दिल कोर कर देने लगा, उसको बस आ ही जाता है. It's everywhere, even the government. When the government is lavishly spending for the Praja's Shreyas all the money, the people will be happy to pay the taxes and all. If the government is eating the money, other seated people in the government offices, then the people also find their own ways to cheat the government. ये हर जगह लागू है. So mukataha radham is the meaning of this. Mukhya vritya puja purasaram, also prathame vayasi. The one is understood, the other to follow the same. This the falashruti is understood. Ki mukatosmai mukatosma annagam radhyate means what? He will also will be respectfully, reverentially given the food as a priority wherever he goes. When he himself is doing that. This we do in the world also. How people become famous? Not by taking. They become famous by taking also, but in a negative manner. But those who positively become famous because they are the givers. Be a giver. Work hard and give, not the other way around. Don't work at all, be a receiver from others. And from the total standpoint also, if everybody is a receiver and nobody is a giver or producer, how can there be the goods or consumable things? सब लेने वाले हैं, इन्हें कुछ है नहीं, खाने वाले बनाने वाले कुछ है ही नहीं, तो चीज रहेगा कहाँ से? And that's why Bhagavan made human being, giving all intelligences, abilities, that he can become giver, he can become producer, he can become creator, he can become contributor. Other animals, they don't have this thing. They are naturally something they do. They can't do more than that. गाय को हम 50 साल 50,000 जन्म भी पालो, वो दूध ही देगा, वो गोबर ही देगा, वो दैट वाल. There is no improvement in it. any of the animals, any of the tree, mango tree, जिधर वाला सिर्फ आम देता, दूसरा कुछ नहीं. But human being is not like that. He can use the intellect to become creative, productive, constructive, useful, expansive. How much he can do. Therefore, Bhagavan gave this ability only for us to become a producer and giver, not the static person of laziness becoming only a receiver. ऐसा नहीं होता. This is by the way conveyed. मुखतः अन्नगम राधम हो गया. Now, एवं मध्यतो. मध्यतो means मध्य में वयसी, in the middle age. मध्यमेन च उपचारेण. Madhyaya Vritya means what? Priority is not given top but second thing. And पूजा पुरस्सरम भी नहीं किया, इंसल्ट भी नहीं किए, लेकिन जस्ट रेस्पेक्ट भी नहीं दिया. It is like the hotel में जो खाना देते हैं, neither insult they do nor they respect. बस you go order, they give food, you eat, then they give the bill, you pay and you go. तो एक दूसरे का संबंध ही नहीं है. There is a मध्यता वृत्ति, मध्यमा वृत्ति से अन्नदान करना. Is it not? द वर्कर्स आर ऑफ दिस टाइप. अन्न क्षेत्र में वगैरह उनको ऐसा होता है कि हमको क्या ना लेना है ना देना है, बस. नेदर दे डू विथ हेटफुलनेस नॉट दे विल रेस्पेक्ट रेवरेंस, दे डू इट ओनली एज ड्यूटी. जैसे मध्यता वृत्ति, रूटीन में देना है ना. When the thing becomes regular or habitual, even to a guru, let's say you are making kana and giving, what we had the mukataha vritti in the beginning will not have after some time if you are not careful or conscious. हाँ mechanically बना के दे देते हैं. मध्यता, not insulting but मध्यता. So मध्यतः मध्यमे वयसि मध्यमेन च उपचारेण. Then the result is मध्यता वा अस्मै अन्नगम राध्यते means he will also receive from the world the same way in madhyama vritti, the anna for your survival. Now, why these three things are said? To maintain the topmost. Therefore, in our life, we have no problem to worry about the food that we are taking care by the world. Now we can focus on the higher sadhana or serving the world. Otherwise, the issue is there throughout life that I am not able to maintain my own survival and sustenance. पूरा attention उसी पे जाएगा. Here, what is said is the Samashti is there to take care of you, the Vesti, if you have an attitude of yourself being a giver and do that practice for some time. And when you become spiritual sadhaka, that time you can't work and earn and all. So फिर you need to survive also, whether the food is required, you will be replenished because of the earlier punya done, that you while doing the sadhana, you have become the giver and giver, that also mukhataha. इसलिए जो लोग व्यवहार संसार काल में बहुत पुण्य दान करते हैं ना, साधना काल में उनके सारे जरूरतें केयर टेक केयर हो जाते हैं. They will all be taken care. During the Grahastha ashrama or at that time, if people have denied, became miserly and all, by mistake, if they enter into spiritual sadhana, they'll be left alone. They'll be struggling for everything. These are the messages to be caught here. So, madhyataha means madhyamena vayasi, madhyamena ja upacharena. You give it. And you also get in the madhyama vayasa with the madhyama upachara. हाँ ले लीजिएगा खाना है, but not even respect or love or even smile. But the third one is worst. तथा अंततः. अंत में अंत्य वयस में जितने बार खा के गए, खाते मर गए, आप बुढ़े हो गए, अब खा नहीं सकते, आप देकर जाना खाना दान में दे रहे. That's some people. Because they can't eat or enjoy, therefore they give. That is the one thing. Antima vayasi. Okay, ante vayasi. Second is what? Jaganyena cha upacharena. That is adhamaya vritya, you can call it as. Like mukhya vritti, madhya vritti, adhama vritti or jaganya vritti, it is said. What is the jaganyena cha upacharena? Paribhavena. Paribhava means giving the anna ityadi, vasati ityadi, all other requirements with the paribhava, the humiliation and insult to the receiver, either expressed outside or inside the heartfelt. This is the third level of the dana. But it's also dana. पेट तो भर रहा है दूसरे का उससे. So therefore it is a part of dana's practice only, but it's the lowest type. है ना? To the Atiti. Now, अतिथि जो घर आते हैं उनको अकोमोडेशन देके भोजन को इस तरह से दे दो कहा, बट इन जनरल थ्रू आउट अवर लाइफ द एटीट्यूड शुड बी लाइक दिस एवरीवेयर। अधवया वृत्तियां नहीं। अब देखो रिक्शे से आप उतरे, अब रिक्शे वाले को देना है पैसे ऑटो, नो हाउ डू यू गिव? मुख्यतः मुख्यतः और मध्यतः और अधवया वृत्तियां, उससे लड़के बार्गेन करके या साहब 10 रुपए दो यही ज्यादा है तुम्हारे लिए, तुम लोग इतना ऑटो के मीटर बढ़ा करके, दिस इज जीरो लक्षण ऑफ द साधक है ना। सो टू गो टू सब्जी का मार्केट में, वहां इतना बार्गेन करके बेचारे सुबह 4 बजे जाकर वो होलसेल मार्केट में दे ब्रिंग इट, वहां you whole day when they struggle there, sell, then one for their survival what's required that much they get, and with them we लड़ाई झगड़ा करके फाइनली टमाटर की अभी 100 रुपए किलो का 10 रुपए करके बेचारा उसको ही 20 लगा उसके मुंह पे 10 फेंक के आते हैं। दैट इज कॉल्ड एज परिभवेना। That's why the Lord has sent a technique nowadays that everything is fixed rate. लेना है तो लो, नहीं तो लो, नहीं लो। Is a big lesson taught now. No bargain, fixed rate. लोग पहले बोर्ड देख लेते इतने का किलो है, no discussion. Give the money, take the thing. In the other parts of the world तो बंदा होता भी नहीं वहाँ to sell. This is only counter the things are there. You just send the money, the thing is delivered, you take and come. These are all unnecessary things, but Bhagavan made because we do the adavaya vritya. जघन्येन जघन्य, जघन्य मीन्स घिनौना, जो घिनौना हिंदी में कहते हैं, ये जघन्येन, घिनौने भाव से देना। इवन गिविंग सैलरी टू द सर्वेंट्स, योर सबऑर्डिनेट्स, जॉय के साथ देना, नॉट दैट अभी देने का टाइम आ रहा है रे करके, नहीं। हाँ, वंस इन व्हाइल यू कैन पुट 100 रुपीज एक्स्ट्रा एंड गिव, कुछ नहीं फल नुकसान होता, इट विल कम बैक टू यू in many other forms. So जघन्येन means उपचारेण परिभवेन, परिभव करते हुए, इंसल्ट करते हुए। देखो यहाँ among millions of things we do, most important is eating food and most important is giving food, because पहले भोजन करो तभी जिंदा, then only we do everything else. First, you have to be alive, no? To be alive, the food is required. That's why the food aspect is taken here for the explanation, which we have to expand in everything. Whether you do the Vastradhanam, give the Mukhya Vritti, not the Adamaya Vritti. When you do the other Dhana Dhanam, or when you do the Bhudanam, Go Dhanam, anything done, it is applicable here. अधम वृत्ति से करो तो तुमको वही मिलेगा, मध्य वृत्ति से करो वही मिलेगा। इफ यू डू मुख्य, दैट इज हाउ इट कम्स, मुखतः मध्यतः अंततः, याद रखना जिंदगी, बिकम अलर्ट, कॉन्शियस। ऑल दीज आर फॉर व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग इज फ्रॉम व्यवहार दृष्टि। फॉर द स्पिरिचुअल सीकर इज व्हाट, he is always coming out of his own ego and selfishness and the possessiveness and the things and the sense of separation from the other people. He is avoiding, he is rejecting, he is owning or identifying with every being. That is the spiritual sadhana. अब तक जो बताया तो व्यावहारिक दृष्टि से, लेन देन की दृष्टि से, कि जैसे आप देते हो वैसे आपको मिलता है। बट फ्रॉम द स्पिरिचुअल स्टैंड पॉइंट, I am removing the sense of otherness for that person. I am coming out of my own ego and selfishness, and I am coming out of the possessiveness I have on these things or material things. These are the internal sadhanas that are given to us or we are trained to do through this practice. अब details जानो या ना जानो, जो कहा करते हैं तो उसका फायदा हो जाता है. Like medicine, you did not know the pharmacology of medicine. Doesn't mean it will not work. अगर ऐसी बात है कि दवा कैसे काम करता है पता है तभी जाकर दवा काम करेगा, तो कोई दवा लेगा ही नहीं, ठीक होगा ही नहीं। वो कितने लोगों को क्या पता है बताओ। डॉक्टर से टेक 3 टाइम्स ए डे, ठीक हो जाएगा, उसने ले लिया, ठीक हो गया। And somebody is interested in join medicine, go and take special course, then they'll tell you which laboratory has been produced this medicine with what combinations, prior to that what are the experiments that are done, before that what was the data। अब देखो पढ़ लो, पढ़ना है तो बिना वो पढ़े मेडिटेशन काम नहीं करेगा, ऐसा नहीं होता, वो कर लेता है। In the same way, without going into the details, just like that, make a habit of doing the annadana, sthaladana, every dana in a mukhya vritti, You will get the result. You do not know all details. जो थोड़ा बहुत सेल्फिश होते हैं, इगोइस्टिक होते हैं, इंटेलिजेंट मानते हैं, उनके लिए लॉजिक्स बताना पड़ता है. So, the second shloka of this 10th Anuvaka talked about three possible attitudes of giving that accommodation, the food, and other things. सबटाइम जो अतिथि आते हैं उसको आपको पैसे भी देना पड़ता है, कपड़े भी देना पड़ता है, अन्य दूसरा कोई भी मदद करनी हो तो करना होता है. Depends now who has come to our house. All everything if Upanishad says it will become big. She said accommodation and food. You should understand everything, giving the security, giving the assurances, giving the wealth, giving the other clothing, giving the job if required. अब क्या क्या है? As a giver, whatever you can give. And the other explanations, not all of them you can afford to do it or not. Vasati or khana to jarur do. In that way also we can conclude. That means minimum ये भी नहीं करोगे तो you are not even spiritual. You are waste. Minimum इतना करो. Then more than that anything you can do. So to abhyagata tithaya means actually you yourself should go into the world and give the food and serve. If you can't do that, at least the one who's coming to your own house with faith, कम से कम उसको तो करो. तो ये कम से कम की बात हो रही है शास्त्र में. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा there is no end to that charity which you can do, like the Mahashala Shaunaka of the Mundaka Upanishad fame. He's Mahashala, he's a giver, 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 giver. So the basic thing is Mukataha, Madhyataha, Antataha. How we give it, we get it like that only. That Falashruti is said for us to inspire us to do, but we should not do for the Falashruti. The Falashruti is always to remove the sense of insecurity, the sense of that we ourselves may miss everything. उसको दूर करने के लिए भगवान ने ऐसे फल रखा भी है और उसको हमको बताते भी है, बट हमारा दृष्टि वहां नहीं होना चाहिए. We should be very busy only in doing what is to be done, not on what we get. Karmanevadhikarasya mafulesha. Still, to remove the doubt, it is given. At a higher level, you see some people, they are only bent upon giving, giving. They are not minding at all what they are receiving. उनका वो दृष्टि चली गया, they have evolved to the next level. They are convinced कि what I need, Bhagavan will give me, but my job is only to serve the total. They are established in that. तो ऐसे लोग बहुत कम होते हैं, but there are some. What I get, a thought होता ही नहीं. Like Puja Gurudev, when he has worked so much, or any Mahatmas, did they ever have a thought of what I get from that? I concept in unko, and then how can they have what I get from the people? Because of that only the totality entered them. They could do in a big way the work. जिसने अपने अहम स्वार्थ को छोड़ते हैं ना उसके द्वारा समष्टि काम करती है. भगवान ऐसे करवाते. By the way, so this is the three things. Second shloka done. Now यह एवं वेदा. What is the meaning of evam vedam? Yah evam annasya yathoktam mahatmyam veda tad danasya cha phalam tasya yathoktam phalam upanamate. Yah evam veda means the one who knows all these three things. One, have to create the food and accommodation. Two, have to give the anna. Third, the one who knows that when the anna is given, this type of phala comes. The one when he does this dhanam, definitely he will get that phala. That's the meaning. So, yaha evam veda, yaha evam annasya yathokta mahatmyam veda, tad dhanasya cha phalam. So, two different things. Anna mahatmya, tad dhanasya phalam. The glory, greatness of the annam, that it satiates other person's hunger and makes him become alive. That's called as annasya mahima. And therefore, we do the annadana, annadanasya phalam. What is the mahima of the annam? Annam is Brahma Swarupam only. It quenches the hunger, etc., removes. It makes the person alive. With the life sustained, he can do wonderful things as his contribution to the world. ये है अन्न का महात्म्य. उसका दान का फल, this is what कि we also get what we give, the way, the quantity, everything. Time of our life giving. बचपन में दिया तो बचपन में मिलता है. युवा में युवा, मध्यमा मध्यमा. That's why you can see in people's life, no, हमारा चाइल्डहुड फेड ए लॉट, बट मिडिल यंग एज में होता है कि हॉस्टल में रहता है, उसको भूखे होते हैं, खाना मिलता नहीं, मतलब अर्लियर लाइफ ही वाज डन द मुखतोन्नगम राहतम, नॉट दैट ना, उसने मिडिल एज में नहीं किया है. So we can see some people sometime old age they get good, but earlier they didn't get. Some old age को देखते भी नहीं. So these are all depending on how we have done in the past. This much if you can know, that's good. यह एवं वेदा, यह एवं अन्नस्य यथोक्तम महात्म्यं वेदा तद दानस्य च फलम तस्य यथोक्तम फलम उपलम्यते. As said by the Shruti Mata, that phala comes to that person. He need not worry about it. Because मेरा क्या होगा, सर्वाइवल, मुझे क्या मिलेगा, दिस बिकम क्वेश्चंस फॉर द इनिशियल एंट्रेंस. देवर श्रुति माता थॉट चलो उसको जवाब दे देते हैं, आफ्टर ऑल बाद में वही खुद मेरे को सपोर्ट करने वाला बनेगा. Why the children are taken care, forgiven so by the parents? Because heart is not they know. When they become old, these fellows become younger. They are the ones going to take care. Therefore, keeping that thing in the future mind, they don't bother this. So, Shrutimata knows that these people will practice what I said. They will become the propagators of all of that. Therefore, in the initial days, they have a doubt. Keeping on giving the dana, हमारा क्या होगा? तो उनको फलश्रुति बोल दो, encourage them. श्रुति माता is saying, don't worry बेटा, जैसा तुम करोगे ना वैसा तुमको भी मिलेगा. Once you start, somebody enjoys the joy of giving the thing. Later on, he will not even ask the Shruti Mata or anybody कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा क्या होगा, मुझे क्या मिलेगा. You know, मेरा क्या होगा, मुझे क्या मिलेगा. What will happen to me? What will I get when I do these things? Big questions, no? These two are the questions because of which people don't tend to give the dana adi, seva adi. इंक्लूडिंग स्पिरिचुअलिटी दे डिनाई बिकॉज़ मैं जाऊँगा तो मेरा क्या होगा? दैट दे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन भोग, ये सब चला जाएगा, इसलिए कहते हैं चलो क्लास ही छोड़ देते हैं, सत्संग ही छोड़ देते हैं, गुरु को छोड़ देते हैं. दैट्स ऑल. जिनका पुण्य बहुत थोड़ा है, दे कम फॉर 1 or 2 day क्लासेस एंड द होल लाइफ दे आर लॉस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड. द स्ट्रांग थॉट इन हिम देयर, मेरा क्या होगा, मुझे क्या मिलेगा. सो श्रुति माता सेज तुम्हारा भला ही होगा, तुमको जो दे रहा हूँ मिलेगा वापस. चलो ठीक है, मैं लगे रहता हूँ. When he starts doing, the totality appreciates him so much, he will be replenished with so many things that he will not even a thought also. You see in the world, in Bharat Mata में, how many langars are there? हमको एक रोटी 1 किलो आटा लाने में दिक्कत होती है. In that hundreds and hundreds of kgs of all the grains are coming every day, सुबह शाम. And they are feeding 10,000, 20,000 people. There's no fear in them. There's no doubt in them anytime. अरे यार आज तो हो रहा है, कल होगा कि नहीं. In that work when they are doing, totality is replenishing it. The Lord will send it. They are practical Vedantis. They have studied Taittiriya Upanishad in the earlier life. In this life, they are practicing. We are studying now. No practice. We do it next life. That means कोई कल अगले जन्म में कोई लंगर हाउस में आप खाना देना शुरू करोगे. It may be, it's a sadhana. Please remember, somebody is not coming to the class, etc. Doesn't mean they are not sadhakas. They are the actual sadhakas. We're only collecting the theory. There's so many beautiful people all over the world selflessly serving. They are taught about that in the earlier lives theory. Now they are doing it practically. The result of it they'll get again in the future life. Then they combine the theoretical knowledge, practical experience. Then they decide is life is to realize the self inside and outside, serve everyone and give everything to everyone. ऐसे उत्तम स्थिति में हर एक जीव को आना पड़ता है. These people are reaching to that level, by the way. So in this way we have done 2 shlokas thoroughly. निकञ्चनवसनं प्रत्याचक्षिता तद्व्रतं तस्माद्दया कया च हृदया बह्वन्नं प्राप्नुयात् अराद्यस्मान्नमित्याचक्षते. First one. Second one, एतद्वै मुकुतो अनगमनाद्धं मुकुतोऽस्मानगमनाद्यते एतद्वै मध्यतो अनगमनाद्धं मध्यतोऽस्मानगमनाद्यते एतद्वान्ततो अनगमनाद्धं अन्त्यतोऽस्मानगमनाद्यते एवं वेदा. Over. Now the third mantra is very important. Third and four are more crucial. After पूरा ये सब निपट लिया ना हमने कि खाना देना वगैरह, अकोमोडेशन देना, and it won't be there for permanently. Your children will come, उसको आप दे देते हो, you become spiritual. Then slowly the Brahma Abhyasa we have to enter into. After dealing with the whole material things and people and our positions and our attitudes, our give and take, in these two shlokas, these aspects are addressed in their expansive meaning. If you are very subtle सात्विका, हमको ये सारे सूझ जाते हैं, समझ में आ जाते हैं बातें. So I have managed the people, I have managed my resources, I have managed my attitudes of दानम इत्यादि. अब माइंड खाली होगा वे सबसे. कोई भी चीज परमानेंट नहीं रहता. Like I am doing classes, ये भी परमानेंट नहीं रहेगा. One day it will stop. Something else will start else. So once that stage comes, then we start doing the Brahma Abhyasa. That's what is the shloka number 3 and 4. Now, idanim brahmanaha upasana prakaraha uchyate. इदानीं ब्रह्मणः उपासना प्रकार उच्यते. अब देखो, we as a Vedantin reject, deny so much of the upasanas and all of devata. हम तो ब्रह्म है ये वो करके, अब ये उपनिषद खुद ही ब्रह्म का उपासना का मंत्र बता रही है. एंड दैट शंकर भगवान हिमसेल्फ was Advaita talking about upasana. Okay, now its expanded meaning is what? The true meaning, deeper meaning is, even though Siddhanta Rupena we have understood, yet our inner deep vasanas and notions being contrary to that, to remove them, we have to practically think that way, practically do that way, and ensure from our heart all the negative are removed. What is said here is Brahmana Upasana. Here in Bhagavad Gita, they are said as the Vibhuti Upasanas. The Vibhuti Upasana, Bhagavat and Bhagavad Gita is equal to the Brahma Upasana given by Shruti Mata in the Upanishad. सो इदानीम ब्रह्म उपासना प्रकार उच्यते. मतलब क्या हुआ कि ब्रह्म को सिद्धांत के रूप में जानने से सब कुछ नहीं होता. कुछ समय प्रैक्टिस करके जो ब्रह्म वृत्तियां हैं उसको हमको भगाना है. अदरवाइज क्या होगा? इन द क्लास वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एवरीथिंग इज ब्रह्मन, बट व्हेन वी गो आउट ऑफ क्लास एज इट इज नो ब्रह्मन ओनली, वी टेक द वर्ल्ड एज सो रियल, वी इन्वॉल्व. एंड ये आदत हो जाती है. एंड पीपल दैट वे थाउजेंड्स ऑफ लाइव्स दे लिव अ प्रोफेशनल सत्संगी. क्लास में आएंगे, सुनेंगे, लेकिन कोई बदलाव नहीं है. अपने व्यवहार में देखो कोई अनुभव ही नहीं है जो सुना पढ़ा जो समझा. So Shruti Mata doesn't want us to lack that experience. She has not come here to only teach us the theory and make her satisfied, make us satisfied. No. She wants us to give the experience of Paramatma. Therefore, to remove the notions of Abrahmata, the Brahma Upasanas are to be done. Like we taught this to the youngsters last 7-8 days, we are doing this topic only of Vibhuti Yoga in the chapter 10 of Gita. Okay, everything is Brahman first of all. We are given a freedom. Now, in that Brahman, we have seen the world. With the world, we have got entangled with Raga Dveshadi. Until the Brahman is discovered, the moksha will not come. But the world is very problematic. Then what to do? In the Bhagavan only you saw the world. No, in the world you start seeing Bhagavan. In Paramatma you saw Himalayas. No, in Himalayas you see Bhagavan. The first mistake is rectified by the second correct. And in Paramatma you imagined Ganga. Maya. Now see the Srotra Asamasmi Jaknavi. You see the Bhagavan in Ganga Maya. That earlier mistake is rectified. This is ultimate Vedanta. What is there is Parabrahman only. Then the whole world is what? Parabrahma's modification. Does the Brahma modify? No. Then what is the modification? Modification is only Shabda. What way the Shabda modified the Brahman? Only by giving name. We have studied this portion, no? ईयर भी पढ़े थे हम तैत्तरीय में. हम मुंडक उपनिषद में तो और स्पष्ट रूप से बताते इस बात को. वाचारंभणम विकारा. See what is vikara? A Brahman is Vak only. And what is the Vak which is creating vikara in Brahman? Only giving the name. Other than that, everything, anytime you are seeing through any of the upadhis appearing in any form, is nothing other than pure conscious existence. And that is me. The wrong notion is replaced by the right understanding. I know our problem is one, but there are so many variety of things are there in the Kamam, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, with millions of varieties. How can it be Brahman? Arre Baba, that is what is Brahman. On that Brahman, your mind and Maya made these many things as if to appear. That's what million examples we are giving. Same water is called as ocean, river, pond, a cloud, and rivulet or well, etc. Same water is called as ripple, bubble, wave, etc. वही तो बता रहे हम शुरू से. All examples are given to convey this only, the tattva remaining same, on that so many forms and names are projected to such an extent that they become real. The tattva is forgotten. That's what samsara, that's what ajnana, that is what moha, that's what delusion, that's what all the causes for creation of raga, desha, kama, krodha. That is the cause for making us do the karma, that to papa karma, and get the all fall of dukkha. So one who has studied these shastras very deeply, digested them, spent lot of sufficient time for contemplation, he just looks at the world with a different way. Now I understood everything. Shrutha, Brahman, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, seen in this way through the Upadis. At the Samishta level, the Upadis is called Maya. At the West level, the Upadis is called Avidya. Okay, the avidya itself expresses as the panchakoshas, the shabda sparsha prasagandha ko grahan karne wale, all the indriyas, mana, buddhi, they're all the instruments coming out the maya, producing or seeing the whole jagat in the world. Whole jagat in the God, sorry. पूरे जगत को परमात्मा में दिखाने के लिए ये अविद्या से ये उपाधियां उत्पन्न हुए. In the total also, it is Bhagavan's Maya Shakti with which the samashti world is projecting on the reality without touching the reality. You can't touch the gold, please. You may make million ornaments on it. Touching the gold means changing the gold to be copper or silver. Means anything other than it. इसको अपने स्वरूप को नहीं बिगड़ते हुए ही बिगाड़ते हुए उसके ऊपर you make an ornaments. Isn't it? In the same way, truth alone is there everywhere. On that the world is projected. So even though theoretical knowledge is gained, yet our samskaras are there, they have to be removed by the opposite samskar. That's what in Atmavad and all that. Evam nirantara abhyasta brahmasmiti vasana harat avidya vikshepan roga niva rasayanam. ब्रह्म का भी उपासना अभ्यास करना पड़ता है. So that's what here. अथ इदानीं ब्रह्मणः उपासना प्रकारः उच्यते. There are two types of upasana. One is Manushi, second is Daivi upasanas. And so beautiful it is. And after the explanation of this, there will be some 7-8 question answers. There will be between Siddhanta and Purusha. Then the Ekatva establishment will be done. Thereafter, crossing all the 5 koshas, he will experience the truth. The experience of the truth is so beautiful. He starts singing the Gana, ha, oo, ha, oo. In this way, in our some 7-8 days or 6-5 days, we will be concluding this wonderful Upanishad. Let us just chant that particular mantra, whose satsanga we will do tomorrow. कौन सा है वो? कि उपासना वाला. What is that उपासना वाला? कि क्षेम इति वाचि योगक्षेम इति प्राणापानयोः कर्मेति हस्तयोः गतिरिति पादयोः विमुक्तिरिति पायौ इति मानुषे समाज्ञाः अथ दैवीः तृप्तिरिति वृष्टौ बलमिति विद्युते यश इति पशुषु ज्योतिरिति नक्षत्रेषु प्रजातिरमृतमानन्द इत्युपस्थे सर्वमित्याकाशे तत्प्रतिष्ठेत्युपासीत प्रतिष्ठावान् भवति तन्मह इत्युपासीत महान् भवति तन्नम इत्युपासीत नम्यन्ते स्मै कामाः तद्ब्रह्मेत्युपासीत ब्रह्मवान् भवति तद्ब्रह्मणः परिमर इत्युपासीत पर्येण म्रियन्ते द्विषन्तः सपत्नाः पर्ये प्रिया भ्रातृव्याः. See, Upanishad itself, how many says words she said, उपासीता 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 10 बार उन्होंने कहा. श्रुति माता ने कहा कि उपासना करो. So what is this Manushi Upasana of Brahman? What is the Daivi Upasana of Brahman? Which becomes a very, very important aspect as regard the practice of sadhana is concerned. Like the outer practice of Annadanam, Vasati Danam, Vastra Danam, Dhana Danam, they all have been covered in the earlier 3 Anuvakas plus the 2 mantras. Now, the upasana of the Brahman, to see Brahman everywhere, so that our whole inner setup gets totally overhauled and changed. Our own inner setup of asanas, the habits, the concepts, the convictions are so strong that the world is real, there is no Brahman. Now you got the knowledge, intellectual, theoretical, that's not sufficient. And now when you make a plan for your house, not enough, no, you have to make a house also to stay. Same way, we have to replace all our non-positive notions with the positive understandings. Very essential it is. जनरली लोग ना थियरी समझकर खुश हो जाते हैं, प्रैक्टिकली दे कंटिन्यू लिविंग लाइक ए अर्लियर वर्ल्डली पीपल ओनली. Some of them do some japa upasana sadhana. Don't remember that consciously we have to remove those non-positive thoughts that the world is real other than Brahman. Replace that. That was prior. Basically, it is Brahman. Later on, for the sake of Vyavahara, this is in the form of this moving and non-moving world. इस स्थिति में हमको आना चाहिए. Then only the world losing its value stops influencing our mind, after which only on the deep seat of meditation and contemplation, we can transcend the upadhi, we can go to the Hridaya Akasha, we can see the Shuddha Chaitanya Paramatma alone permeating everything. And that is me. So let us reach to those experiences in this very life, as we saw today in the introduction. That should be our most important priority. बाकी सब चलता ही रहता है. And the more you give attention, it will attract you and it will make you give value. Slowly we develop attachments, fears, a pura jhamela. Just like when you leave the class and go, all jhamela enters. And when you are in the class, how calm and quiet. कहाँ गया दुनिया पूरा एक घंटा क्लास में? Where are the chintas, chintanas, worries, anxieties, tensions? We are not there as true as this one. As practically we have done now while class being in the class, whole world we transcended. Same thing throughout the day we have to do. A revel in the truth's contemplation. You will see the world is not there, not required. Self alone is real. Let us come to that experience soon. Om 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 Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Paramrishibhyo Namaha Parabrahmane Namaha Shruti Matre Namam Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you. Yeah.